Alright everyone, we start off today talking about reciprocal tariffs. Of course, this is something that Trump has proposed. The idea is, let's say that a foreign country that we trade with is tariffing goods that it's exporting to the United States at, or imports, either way, both work at like 15%. The United States will respond by adopting a similar tariff. And so this balances, the trade, so to speak. I am not a huge fan of using a tariff system in general. But if other countries are going to screw us in the ass, and they have been for decades and decades, the United States should retaliate. Finally, we have a U.S. president who believes in free trade. But sticks, some of you may say. Tariffing and stuff like that, that doesn't sound like free trade. Well, yes, but at the same time, if other countries are engaging in the same behavior, all you're doing is equalizing things. This is the proper and necessary thing to do. We can't continue getting screwed around with by other countries in a situation where the United States dumbly decides not to tariff goods on countries that are tariffing our goods. Export, import, doesn't really make a difference. The United States, by the way, exports a shit ton of goods. Most people don't know this. Of course, we've got a manufacturing crisis in the United States at times, but we do export a lot of things. From grain, we're the #1 grain supplier. Wheat, corn, sorghum, everything under the sun. We have rice production, actually. Most people don't know that. We produce a lot of agricultural goods. We're the #1 agricultural exporter in the world. Minerals, fertilizer, mining equipment, rocket ships and shit like that. Rockets in general, for military usage. Munitions, everything under the sun. Sulfate production, for example. Even now, lithium, potentially. We've got all sorts of goods in the United States. And we're trading them out, and we're not tariffing it. And then we're importing things from other countries that are necessary for part of that production, and they're taxing it. They're adding a surcharge. This doesn't really make sense now, does it? Import and export is taxed by other countries, but we're not engaging in the same behavior. The idea of adding these reciprocal tariffs, in my opinion, is mainly to make other countries back down on the level of their tariffing. So it'll make things cheaper in the United States. Trade is a big thing. Not every country has every resource. For instance, you look at Bhutan or some nation like that. It's not capable of being, it's capable of being self-sufficient, but not at a first world level. They need trade. They need to be able to acquire goods from other countries. But every time the good moves from one country to another, it keeps getting taxed. It keeps getting surcharged. The United States has stupidly decided that, over the last few decades especially, that it's going to engage in free trade, but it's stupid trade at the same time. If another country is charging a 20% surcharge on some sort of thing that it's sending to your country or importing into your country, and you're not responding similarly, then it makes absolutely no sense. It's mainly about exports, not imports, by the way. But it is on both levels. The United States has blundered into a situation where liberals, the unipartyist liberals, I would add, leftoids seem actually a little bit more cognizant on the issue, which is fucking sad. They believe that free trade means other countries are allowed to tax, import, and export on your goods, but if you do so, it's a big problem. It's anti-capitalistic. This coming from liberals, by the way. Coming from people that are on the relative left wing of politics for the most part. Very, very strange, by the way. Very, very odd. Odds bodkins, my friend. I believe in reciprocal tariffs. If another country is tariffing your goods, import or export, then you simply respond in kind. Well, now you've got free trade. You've raised the prices of everything on both ends, but they've already done that. That's the whole point. Let's say, for example, the United States is trading with Canada, and we're importing fuel, and they apply a tariff on that fuel. We're going to charge you more, artificially by the way, for this fuel. If the United States were to say, well, that's okay, we'll tariff you on the fuel that we're sending to you as well, then all of a sudden they say shit. Because the United States is a huge exportation unit. It's also a huge importer of goods. We can grow our domestic markets on the import side. You grow your domestic markets. So, for example, let's say that another country is tariffing their steel, our steel rather. And so we say, okay, well, we're going to tariff yours. All of a sudden, U.S. steel becomes more affordable. As a general rule, the U.S. steel is now cheaper. Well, what's that going to do to the U.S. steel industry? Assholes. It's going to make it grow. That's the way that you do things. Trump is completely right, economically speaking, with regards to reciprocal tariffs. And I see certain people complaining about it. Oh my God, the cost will rise. Yes, you're not understanding though. What'll happen is the U.S. industry will grow. Generally speaking. Not universally, but in general. Sorry, I'm still getting over that fucking whatever disease it was that I got that time. What'll happen is that U.S. industries will grow. Wages, therefore, will tend to rise. Jobs will tend to be created. We will be more competitive on a world market. Because right now we're engaging in not free trade, but stupid trade. That's the whole problem. It's dumb trade. It's not fair in any way, shape, or form. If another country can artificially raise the price of your exports so that you're less competitive in their markets, and you're not responding by doing the same thing even though you've got the #1 fucking economy in the world, it doesn't really make a lot of sense now, does it? No, it makes absolutely no sense at all. That's about all. Peace out.